Hello everyone joining the Litfest International Fiction Book Club discussion of Hurricane Season by Fernanda Melchor. I'm Sophie Hughes. I translated this book from the original Spanish to English. It was published in 2020 and I'm here today to just tell you a little bit about what the book's about and the experience of translating it. So Hurricane Seasons opens as a group of young boys living in a small rural town in Mexico, in the state of Veracruz in Mexico, are playing together and come across the body of a woman known locally as the witch. After this very brief opening chapter, the novel sort of unravels in 6, I think, other chapters which follow the voices of several different characters who live in the same town, and all recount the days and weeks leading up to this murder, the murder itself, and the immediate aftermath of it. In doing so, Melchor is able to offer the reader a very immersive experience, which makes you feel that you have suddenly slipped into this fictional town of La Matosa, and you're overhearing the narratives of different people. So it sounds a little bit like you're overhearing something spoken in a bar or on the bus, and you're gradually piecing together pieces of this quite extraordinary story. So this neighbourhood rumour mill grinds into action, and the novel is told in what's been described as a torrent of language. It's really a kind of stream of consciousness narrative, which allows Melchor to sort of enter into, for want of a better phrase, enter into the minds and psyches and rationale of these characters, revealing in the process how their monstrous actions, how the violence that they enact, how the violence that is done unto them, where it originates from. And she does so offering quite an oblique political portrait of Mexico today. Why is it oblique? Because in this book there is no explicit reference or storyline or plot that tells us about Mexico's narco state, government corruption, endemic violence, this absolute crisis of violence and national trauma that Mexico has been living for well over a decade now, since the war on drugs began. Melchor is able to talk to us about what living in these conditions does to the people who live there, and how they get embroiled in the violence that is perpetrated against them at a more systemic level. The novel was not easy to translate. It's not really a novel that's particularly easy to read. It's engrossing once you get in. Most people find that they cannot put it down, and that's not an accident, I think, on the part of Fernanda Melchor. She herself has described being a reader who likes to be taken by the scruff and drawn into a story, even if that means that there's a sense of being engulfed by it, of the violence being in some way also enacted onto you. So the story is told in this stream of consciousness style, and it's as such it's very colloquial at times. Fernanda has been lauded in Mexico and now the world over for really being the first new prose stylist writing in the Spanish language today. And part of what she does is combine a very lyrical, quite high register, poetic language with the everyday language of the people, the characters that she creates. So you get some very colloquial, often profane language spoken in the novel, and that adds to this sense that you are have been thrown in not only to the action of the world, but into the very language that also helps perpetuate the violence going on in the story. So it's a very rough world full of destitution. We follow the lives of prostitutes, we follow the lives of young girls who have been abused, we follow the lives of a young homosexual boy who is not allowed, or who feels that he is not allowed to be open about his sexuality, is in denial about his own sexuality, is living in an intensely macho culture that does not give him any space in order to be able to express himself. And we follow the devastating repercussions of that kind of environment for all of these different characters. It's a novel that I absolutely adored translating because it's so vivid and so alive. And one of the things I love most about the book is how, despite how painful it is to read and how painful it was to translate, it's a deeply empathetic and sincere and heartfelt exploration of what it means to be human, because to be human can also sometimes mean to be monstrous. And Melchor is interested in how people become monsters. So there is monstrousness in this book, but there is also vulnerability and weakness and beauty as well. I really hope that you enjoy reading the book or get something out of reading the book, and I'll look forward to joining the conversation that you all have on the book club date.